background with everybody being fans.
Hi, I'm Ashlyn Speed and I'm here with Adam Poland today. And we're going to ask him a couple questions about what he does and how to get there. So tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
So I am actually a semi-professional race car driver, both Talladega Nights. And I'm also a professional auto mechanic in the motorsports industry. So, you know, contrary to your dealerships and stuff where you're servicing street cars, you know, we're doing things like performance alignments. We're really trying to maximize everything that you can get out of a car. Being a race car driver, it is helping me a ton out on track whenever I'm driving, because ultimately, I would like to be a race car driver rather than a mechanic. I do like being a mechanic, but I love being a race car driver. Unfortunately, racing cars cost money. So you have to have a way to pay those bills, and what better way to do that than a way that also educates you on what your ultimate dream is. You know, every day I'm working on these cars and I'm learning about that BMW over there, that Mazda up there, the 240 truck drift car up there. You know, you learn all kinds of things about cars. Biggest thing I can say to anybody that's going to be starting out in this is it's good to go in armed with some prior knowledge. It's best to not go at this career totally blind, because if you do go at it totally blind, you can very quickly find yourself in a situation where you don't know what you're talking about. It demands a very, very high quality caliber of work. Like, you have to keep your quality up, because not only do you have these cars you have to keep together, you have these lives that you have to keep together as well, because you do, to some extent, take that person's life into your hands whenever you're doing something like brake service, or if you're putting tires on their car. You know, if you forget to torque a wheel on a car and they hit something, that's technically on you. So these are all things that do need to be talked about, and they need to be understood before you go into this. If you want to get your foot in the door doing any of this, it is good to go to like a trade school or something like that, where they have a quality automotive program where you can go and you can actually, you know, learn from people that are in the industry, and that will prepare you for going any direction that you would want to go working on cars.
What are the work hours like as a race mechanic?
Well, to answer that question, there are a couple of types of race mechanics. So what I do, I own a shop, and you know, I am here during track days. So I'm here Tuesday through Saturday, 9 to 5. You know, they're very basic hours, they're very cut and dry. I'm really not here that late unless I have a job that's really pressing and I have to get done. I'm very rarely here late. Now, on the flip side, if you are a travel race mechanic and you are out traveling with a race team, supporting a race car or whatever it may be, at those events, you're only working for a week or so at a time, you know, supporting this car while it's racing. But that's going to be one of the hardest weeks of your life, because it is a very, very, very disciplined, you know, part of the job. You are expected to be up. If your first race is 7 a.m. and if you have to stay up until 6:45 a.m. fixing the car, you're expected to do that. And you're expected to work that entire day without sleeping. You're expected to do all of this just to make sure that the driver of that car is getting their money's worth and the car is performing well. So, although it is a fun job and you can see a bunch of things, it is a very, very strict job that requires you to work extremely hard. Granted, it's for short periods of time, but you know, a week here and a week there, it can be very stressful. I know some mechanics that love it and it's all they want to do with their life because they get to travel. Now, if you end up, you know, married or have kids, it gets a little harder, because I do know guys that are travel mechanics with families, and they are definitely limited on how much they can go versus the, you know, other people. I will say a traveling mechanic is a fairly hard, it is even harder to separate personal and work lives with that job. Very rewarding if it's what you want, but they are totally different than working.